Okay. So for the second half of the rest of inventory, so we already took a look at how we actually produce inventory and create inventory and be able to update our inventory. Now this is for most cases in case where you do come into the circumstances where your inventory, right? And this is what we learned in accounting. Eventually, sometime in point in time, depending on the type of inventory that you purchase, right? A good example would be technology. If you purchase technology, so laptop, computers, TV screens, monitors, whatever, anything that's electronic, right? You have the idea where in time, right, the inventory items that you purchase, especially if it's technology, it becomes outdated. All right, there's always a new iPhone coming out every year, right? And that's the same idea here, is that sometimes because of the advancement of technology, that means those kind of items that have the older technology gets to, they get devalued over time. And we call that the lower cost of market, lower cost or market, right? Where the market tells us that, hey, because you have a 2019 laptop, it does not hold its value because we're fast forward 2021 where there's new and better technology. So with that being said, depending on what kind of inventory item that you purchase, right, you can devalue or you can lose value in the cost of your inventory due to the market, right? So like I said, I made a perfect example of buying electronics and selling them, right? You can't expect to purchase a 2019 laptop and be able to sell it fast forward in 2021, right? You still can do it, but you wouldn't be able to sell the same price that you bought it back in 2018 or something like that, right? Because it's better technology, better models, better cameras. There's always something better about technology. So in this case, right, you're probably the 2019 laptop's probably going to be valued at probably $300 or less, right? Where you purchased it, accordingly for whatever price that you purchased it, but it's probably going to be decreased in value over time. And that's why we have this section right here, which allows us to adjust our inventory according to those circumstances, okay? Another one too could be like, well, what if for you have an office, right? And you want to just take some of your inventory items to kind of put them on display. Well, then that could also be something that you can adjust your inventory for because you're not technically selling the items on display, are you? You're going to be, that's something that you can adjust inventory for. Okay. So for this example here, we have two things that we can adjust for. We can adjust for quantity, or we can also adjust value, total value. All right. We can also adjust both at the same time if we'd like. But in this case, let's go ahead and show you how to do that. So on the home page, if you go ahead and check out your home page where it says inventory activities, you have this little drop down menu that allows you to do an inventory adjustment right here. Adjust quantity or value. Okay. You can also do that right here on your vendors list, or in this case, vendors menu bar. Clicking inventory activities, and you can adjust quantity and value. All right. And I think you might be able to do that in the inventory center as well. So let's go ahead and explore that. So inventory activities, inventory center. Let's see, activity. And let's see. Yes, you can adjust the quantity and that total value here on the inventory center. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and just be able to do it right here on my home page because it's the easiest. So adjust quantity and total value. So once you do that, you're going to get this window here where it pretty much is going to be an adjustment entry, or also known as a general journal. Okay. Now, in this case, in this aspect, you are making an adjustment. So you are technically journalizing, okay? And I'm putting air quotes here because in QuickBooks, right, it does your inventory adjustments separate from your actual general journal, but it treats it the same way, right? You could also adjust your inventory using the general journal, but they already have a place for you to be able to do that. So here, right, when we drop down on the menu here, it gives you options. Do you want to adjust quantity? Do you want to adjust the total cost? Or do you want to adjust both total cost and quantity? In this case, this first example here is I just want to adjust my quantity. Okay. So again, it gives you the date. In this case, usually it's always at the end of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's April 30th, okay? And then now it says right here, do you want to adjust this account in the open balances? So in this case, you need to refer this to an expense account, okay? And we're going to call this, right? So let's clear this out. And this is going to be inventory variance account, okay? So this is where now you're going to get an error message saying that this account is associated with an expense. That's fine. I click OK. So what is an inventory variance? So this is another way to kind of essentially write off the loss because you did lose money due to the market. Okay, so this is a way that you can write off this loss to adjust your inventory accordingly. All right, and then you have right here going to be the reference number. Usually this is what I do. I say this is inventory -1. Okay, just so that you know this is an adjustment for inventory and this is the first one. All right, I believe your book says something different, but that's okay. Again, a reference number is any kind of method that you want to be able to keep a track record of all of your transactions. And in this case, it makes sense that this is, I'm dealing with inventory, so I'm going to make it inventory -1. Okay. And then again, you have a customer/job. There's nobody related to this, and there's no specific class that's related to this because I bought most of my merchandise, you know, for, I believe I purchased it for mostly Walnut Creek, but you don't need to have this adjustment for any reason because inventory, right? You could sell it for both stores. There's, you know, it's not either or. Right? So in this case, the first thing I'm going to be adjusting is going to be the metal picture frames. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in metal. And here it is, metal. Now, when I pull that information in here, it pulls up my product information saying, well, here's what you actually have on hand. Now, of course, I did extra stuff here, so your book will not match this occasion here because I entered in that I received inventory here and I received inventory there. So in this case, your book says that we should have for the metal picture frames, that it should say that we have 30 something. In your book I can't see that, but you're supposed to have at the end of the day 42 left. Okay, so in this case, we're supposed to have, I think, yes. So in this case, right, my book is not going to match my my window is also because, again, this company, Questiva, they did a really bad job of updating a lot of things. So some of them have the old information on there. All right. So in this case, here, I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at it in real time. So in this case, I have 58 on hand. And let's adjust it to that I want to use 2 of them to display on my table here for customers to come and look. So I'm going to say I only have 56 left on hand. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to automatically calculate that you are missing 2 of those picture frames. Okay, and by selling this right here, because we're using average costing, it's going to significantly change because the total value right now of the metal picture frames, which I don't know, it's going to reflect. So if you remember, I had 58 of them. Now I'm down to 56 of them. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay. So again, if I go to my inventory adjustment report, or I'm sorry, if I go to my inventory and I do my stock status by item, I'm going to see that it has updated right here telling me that I only have 56 items left in my inventory. Okay. And then I adjusted that 2 of them are gone because 2 of them I'm using on display. I can't sell the items that are on display. Okay, straightforward. Okay. So then let's go ahead and take another example, right? In your book shows you that you can also adjust your total costs. So by clicking on that again, and this time I'm not going to do quantity, I'm going to do total value. Same date usually happens at the end of the month or at the end of the year. All right, and look, inventory -2. Okay, and this time I'm going to go ahead and put in my wooden frames. Okay. Now in this context, it's going to bring up the total value to be a total of $100. Okay, where it's supposed to say 200 in your book, it says 200, and you're going to devalue it to 180. No, again, they are using stuff from the old book. Okay, so in this case, right, I'm going to say, well, maybe due to the market, the cost of the wood went down. So therefore, it's now worth $150. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, it went down. It went, so then it's going to be down to $80. Okay. Because yeah, that's too much. Half the price is too much. So in this case, I'm going to devalue it down to $80. Right? And again, you can say due to market, now your frames are now costing less than it was before. Okay, save and close. So then now I'm also able to run a report on my inventory based on the value. So here you go, valuation. In this case, I'm going to do detail. All right, and I want to make sure that I do this for all. Okay, so let's take a look at my value in detail. So here, if I take a look at my wooden picture frames, okay, I got a bill here and a bill there and an inventory adjustment. So now let's take a look. So that means my total value, right? I purchased it for 20, and then now it's now worth $4 each. Okay. It cost me $5 now because it dropped in value. Now it's worth $4 each. All right. And the same thing here with your metal picture frames. It used to cost $215 because we made that adjustment saying that we got rid of 2 of them, right? The inventory adjustment. So now it's down to it still says it's $215. Wait, hold on. Adjustment, inventory adjustment. Okay, so we had a few inventory adjustments actually. So in this case, right here's my 2. I went from 58 to 56. Okay, so this is really weird. I don't follow along, but your inventory right now is 120. Okay. So that's how you are able to adjust your inventory accordingly based on either quantity or value. Okay, any questions there?
Just so you know, on the 30-day, you're not able to access the inventory. Like when you go to home, you have to access that through a different place because there's nothing in that little tab on this of the home.
Oh yes, yeah. So if you have Pro, you said the 30-day trial, right? The Pro,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You don't have access to the inventory center. Well, you do, but it's not on the homepage. You would have to go to vendors, inventory activity, and be able to go to the inventory center that way. Oh no, that's the same
Yeah.
thing. I don't have. It's not on the homepage.
Yeah. Where it says inventory activities, you have nothing in there.
Oh,
We're on Pro.
yeah. Okay, so Pro does not have inventory. It will not let
I
you
mean,
show it.
the tab is in there, but you have access to, you cannot access anything. I guess you have to pay extra or actually pay the subscription or something.
For the adjustments too?
Yeah, inventory activities,
Uh-huh.
that particular thing, I couldn't go through there.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Thanks for that comment. So again, once again, once you do eventually are able to download the 5-month trial, you're able to do everything that I can do because it's in the book, right? You'll be able to do everything in here. What is that her hand?
Okay.
That was me.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because I have the trial, and I'm able to get to it. Did you use the drop? You know the button to drop to the options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it doesn't give me an option to go in. Like if I click some and whatever, you know how she has four um, options there. I only had two, and it didn't take me anywhere. And then it just gave me something about, paying more and blah blah blah. Because what I have is the 30 days. Did you download the 30 days also?
Yeah, I did, and it's working. So I don't know.
I might have to uninstall it and install it again. I guess I don't know. Okay,
Mm,
well, thank you for letting me know.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right, because I was like, you should still be able to do the adjustments, but in this case, you don't have an inventory center. That's for sure. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? No. All right. So let's talk about setting up group items. Well, first, let's talk about what a group item is. A group item is where you essentially, when a business likes to sell packages, or for example, right? Usually, you can get greater deals if you purchase in bundles. Okay, so for example, this photography says, "Hey, I will throw in a free picture frame if you purchase this bundle package that has 3-hour photo shoots, photo sessions, and 1 hour retouching," right? Something like that, right? So this is where group items come into play because that's exactly what it's made for. It's so then when you bill your customers, right? Instead of having to select every single piece of information, the idea here is that you're selling a bundle package, okay? Now, in this case, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This is going to be called the 5x7 retouching package, okay? And of course, we're going to go to items and services, and we're going to create a bundle package. Now, here's a notion that you need to have before you are able to create a group item. You need to have pre-existing items in order to use or create a group item, okay? Very similar to sales tax group, right? Where you have to create the sales tax item first separately, and then you can combine them together in a group. That's the same essential thing here, and except this one's just called regular group. So once again, I'm going to click regular group. The title on this one's going to be 5x7 retouching. Okay. Description's going to say that you're going to have retouching services with 5x7 I think it's a wooden frame. Wooden picture. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and list out all the items that come with it. So once again, we have some retouching services and we have the 5x7 wooden frame. Now in this case, I believe the quantity is 3 of the retouching and one of the picture frames. Okay, so 3 retouching and 1 picture frame. Now notice this, there's no place to set a price. Okay, and this is the most important thing that you should know, because again, when you set group items, you can't change or modify the price of these items, because what this actually does is it's combining them all into one. Okay, so it's literally taking, well, if a retouching session is cost $95, and then your picture frame costs an additional $10 or $9.99, right? It's just going to combine them all together. So this is where you have to be very, very careful, because I'm going to show you what happens when we sell this package, right? So I'm going to click OK. So here you have the 5x7 retouching. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and invoice a customer, right? Let's say this customer decided to buy our package. Okay, so once again, go to your home page, and I'm going to go ahead and click create an invoice. Okay, now with this one, I'm going to go ahead and once again, pick on Mr. Bob Mason. Okay, so I'm going to pick on Mr. Bob Mason. Bob Mason. Here he is. He's from our San Jose location. Okay. Date, I'm going to say maybe he bought this on the 18th of April. Okay. And let's say he did receive our retouching 5x7 photo. Now notice this. It drops down the menu for you exactly like this. Now, of course, you can't be, what's the point of creating a bundle package if your customer's not going to save a penny? So this is where you can modify your information directly on the sales form. So again, you're going to, let's say the idea here is that if you do get this retouching, we'll throw in the picture frame for free. So in that case, that means my rate right here, I'm going to change this to 0. Okay, I'm going to change this to 0. So then it reflects that it's free. Okay, and of course you're going to get a window saying, hey, you made changes. Okay. Okay, if you sell an item or inventory item with, okay, that's fine. Or you click okay. So in this case, you write that in there, and now it is free, right? It's considered free. Now, most cases, nothing is really free. You have to charge like a penny or so, which is completely fine. It's not the end of the world. But at the end of the day, you can make modifications. Maybe the picture frame, since you can't charge anything for free, right? You would have to put that extra penny in there. Just put 001. Okay, and again, it just gave me a message saying that you can't tax an item if there's no value in it. That's fine. If there's no value to it, it's just going to be 0. So there it is, right? So this is, I have to modify the actual sales price itself on the actual sales form, so then you can reflect what the bundle actually has. So in this case, I have to manually change it. In this case, I'm going to give the picture frame for free because they decided to go with this package to get 3 hours of retouching. So therefore, everything looks good, right? It's still $285. All right, and I'm going to click Save and Close. Okay, that's how you use a group item, and that's how you toggle it or make changes on the actual sales form. Okay. All right, any questions there? Okay, no? All right. Next section we have here is called units of measure. If you are using QuickBooks Pro, you unfortunately do not have this feature, right? It's only available in Premier, Accountant, and Enterprise. Okay, but this is okay if you have the 30-day trial. Just go ahead and view it until you download your trial. But in this case, what is a unit of measure? Okay. Now this is very tricky, especially depending on which, when you're running a business, right? Who this applies to. Okay. This applies to when you purchase from vendors. Okay. This is where you're thinking about if you're purchasing from a vendor in bulk. Okay. So for example, you go to Costco, right? You're purchasing items in bulk. However, you can turn that around and sell it to your customer at an individual piece. That is what units of measure is. And of course, as a business perspective, you're better off purchasing in bulk because of the cost of product, right? It reduces, the more that you buy in bulk, the significant lower each cost per item is going to be. You'll essentially be saving a lot of money. However, you can't if a bundle package, right? Or sorry, not a bundle package. If a bulk package is something that you just purchase in bulk, you don't want to sell that to your customer. You want to break it down and create a cost per item. So that's where this is going to come into play. So, for example, here the book tells you, well, let's say I have I purchased, or I'm going to purchase, for this example, and how to use it, right? I'm going to purchase in bulk these items, and I'm going to apply it and then be able to sell them as an individual base. Now, in this case, right? Well, in this case, we need to make sure that we toggle it on there. So you would have to go ahead and do that by going to inventory and items and be able to make sure that you select that you are allowing units of measure. Okay, so I'm going to show you that just because the book is kind of not a very good picture of it. So when you go to here, let me click inventory and items, inventory items, and you click on company. Down here where it says units of measure, you need to click enable. All right, then you're going to get this window here where it says, well, if you're going to enable units of measure, how are you going to be using it? In this case, you can have multiple UMs, so units of measure per item, right? So, and then again, instead of having one single item, right? So say I'm going to do per item, per mile, per gallon, etc., etc. Yeah, I want to be able to use multiple units per item. Okay, or I can use single. All right, whichever. Okay, so in this case, I believe your book tells you that you are going to be selecting single. So again, I don't want to say that I sell this and this and this and this in different units. But in this case, I'm going to select single. So then I'm able to go ahead and process this. Okay, so single. All right, and I'm going to click finish. So there you go. Now you have a single units of measure per item, and I'm going to click OK. And again, it will say open Windows, okay. All right, so then, hopefully I clicked OK. So then, let me double check if I accidentally click cancel. Okay, no, I did click OK. All right, so then the next time you create an item, right, and you can actually set its units of measure. So if I go to items and services, right, I could pick basically any item that I buy in bulk and make a unit of measure out of it. Okay, so I believe in your example in the book is going to be when we take an item, right, we buy metal picture frames, we buy them in bulk, okay? So let's take a look in your book right here and how we're able to apply it here. So when I purchase my metal picture frames, right? So here you go. Double click to edit it, or you can just right click and edit, or you could go down to the bottom and edit this item. Okay, and then here you could say that this item, which is a 5x7 metal picture frame, right? And let's say you want to put in the measurement as each item in the units of measure. So again, you can create a title for this. In this case, I'm going to type in each, okay? And you might need to set that up. So I go ahead and click tab, and it says each is not a valid units of measure. So I'm going to set that up. So how do I set this up? Basically, I'm saying, well, this is the name of it's going to be each, and the abbreviation is EA, okay, or I think it's lowercase EA. And I'm going to go ahead and click finish. So that means every time I sell, so I buy in large quantities. Maybe my package comes with 10 of them, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there that it's 10 in a package. And when I sell my items, I sell it based on an individual item. So as far as that's what you have to do to make sure that when you do sell them and you put this on your sales receipt, it says each on them, okay? And again, once I set that up, then I can go ahead and click save and close. Okay, and okay, so it says here selling is going to be for 12, hold on. Okay, I'm on the wrong one. So once you set that up and you've done that, let's go ahead and receive a batch of inventory and then be able to just go ahead and process it as an individual one. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. Okay. Okay, so now I have an individual here. So let's go ahead and receive a batch of inventory, okay? And I'm going to enter in the total quantity. So again, like I've mentioned before, right? When you actually process or create a purchase order, okay? What happens is that you'll be invoicing them, right? And you're going to be invoicing them per individual. So in this case, you can see here, it pops up as each. So each one is priced at $5.99. All right. So again, your book basically tells you this is what you're going to do. So when you do a purchase order and you actually receive a bill in that and you create an invoice, it's now going to reflect that it's going to have each. So especially when you purchase it, you can purchase it in bulk, but make sure that when you receive the bill, you put in your total quantity. Okay, so then when you do your invoices, it's like this. Okay. All right. Any questions here in regards to units of measure?
No.
Okay. So once again, you could just go ahead and make a purchase order, and let's say I receive a batch of inventory, right? I'm going to go ahead and say a supply. And item is the 5x7 metal picture frames. Okay. And let's say one quantity, right, has a unit of measure of each. So in this case, quantity, let's say I buy 10 of them in a package, right? So therefore, unit of measure is each, okay? And again, each one is going to cost you $2.15 unless you want to use, let's say I buy one package that comes with 10 of them each, then that's where you're going to put that information in. So maybe it gives you a discount of $2 each. Okay, so this is because you're using units of measure. That's where it's saying, well, I bought a package of 10 and it's going to cost me $2 each. No. All right, so then that means it's going to cost you a total of $20. Okay, where opposed to before. All right, let's go ahead and receive that inventory with the bill. And once again, you type in a supply. Okay, you grab this. Okay, and now it says that you received 10 items each. Okay, and we can go ahead and save and close. So then when you end up billing your customer, so if you bill Mr. Bob Mason, right, and you bill him for that 5x7 metal picture frame, it's going to say right here that you're purchasing it based on an one quantity is each. It's going to be market at $5.99. So in this case, maybe he bought 3 of them. Okay, and save and close. So that's how do you use units of measure, right? When you purchase it, of course, it's going to be different. You don't have to necessarily have that on unless you want it to specify what the quantity and what the package is, or what the item is. Are you selling on an individual base, or you're purchasing it in a bundle? Okay. So that's units of production. That's units of measure. All right. So now the next section we have here is called inventory assemblies. Okay. So this is actually a really fun one for inventory assemblies. So again, you must have Premier, Accountant, or Enterprise to be able to do this. Unfortunately, QuickBooks Pro cannot do this. Okay, just because it's more advanced exercises that you can do for the Premier and versus the Pro, right? Or the more things that you can do versus the Pro. So it's very important. It says right here in the big box that only Premier and Accountant is able to do this. So, well, what is inventory assemblies? Okay, so don't confuse this with a group item. An inventory assembly essentially is when you create a product that uses a bunch of inventory parts in order to create the product. So a great example of how to use an inventory assembly is if you are a bakery store, right? You need eggs, flour, milk, sugar, and vanilla, right? You need to have all of those ingredients in order to create a cake, right? So that's essentially what you could do here, is where you can use inventory assemblies to create the product that you want, and you can tailor them to say, let's say 1 egg and then half a cup of milk, or whatever in terms of measuring the gallon, right? And then a cup of flour, things like that, right? To be able to create your inventory assembly. Now, of course, this is not the same thing as a group item, where a group item you just throw things together, right? No, when we use inventory assemblies, you can break down each part, saying, oh, I'm only using half of this product, or using this product all the way, or whatever you want to say, okay? But you have to enter in your inventory items in the first place. You need to have that first in order to create your inventory assembly. Okay. So again, here is the example in the book where you're going to be selecting an item and be creating that inventory, the assembly item. In this case, I'm going to be creating what's called a custom camera, I believe, a custom camera package. Okay. In this case, it's called SR32 camera package, and it's going to be an inventory assembly. All right, so let's go ahead and create that. Once again, let's see. We have $0 in again, it says per. We have the total cost it's going to cost me and what I'm going to sell it at. So let's go ahead and take a look at that window real quick. So we go to items and services, and we're going to create a new item, and this time we're going to be creating an inventory assembly. Okay, so making sure that says inventory assembly, and I'm going to call this SR32 camera package, PKG. I'm just going to go ahead and just type package. Oh, okay. There you go. All right, your description's going to be SR camera and lens. Okay. And again, you have your units of measure. It's in this case, we are selling it as a package. Okay, so PKG. Oh, okay, PKG. Okay, so in this case, P package. Okay, if you don't have that item in there, you're going to set this up. So again, PKG. All right. So there you have it. And then now again, it's actually a camera and lens with case. All right. So then again, it says right here, what is the cost of it? In this case, well, let's take a look. In this case, it tells me that there's no real cost value to it per package because, again, we're building our cameras, right? So in this case, the cost of goods account is still going to be cost of goods sold. However, we're building our item here. But the actual selling price, okay, is going to be $12.75. Okay. But we don't have the actual cost yet because we still have to build our item. However, I know what my selling price is. It's going to be $1,275. Okay. All right. So we have that part, and of course, you're gonna link this. It is a taxable item. Okay, and you're gonna link the income account to your actual sales because you're selling a product. So sales. Okay, so this is where you need to be able to build your item by selecting the following, right? So in this case, this is what I was telling you earlier, that you need to create your inventory part items before you could actually create this item itself, because you're just selecting a bunch of stuff. So in this case, we're putting in one camera, SR, we're putting two lenses and one case. Okay, so SR camera, SR, where's my item? Camera. There you go, camera SR32. It comes with one, quantity 1. It's going to come with 2 zoom in lenses. Okay. And then of course, we're also throwing in a case. Okay. 1. So here you go. I'm building my item, and that's my package right here. All right. Now again, it's going to be obviously coming all out from inventory asset, because that's where all my items are. They're all inventory parts. Okay. And then of course, is there a maximum or a min? That's up to you on what you want to put there. But if not, then again, you don't have to do it. Okay. Because these are things that we have to custom build. So in this case, right, we are not going to add anything there. okay, because we don't have a max or a min for this because, oh, in this case, they say they want a minimum of 5. So I guess I'll be creating this for the minimum of 5. Again, you don't have to have it unless you want it, so 5. Once everything is filled out, right, everything looks good, okay, I have my units of measure, right, each package, and then I have all this information. I'm going to go ahead and click next. All right, okay. So there I created my inventory assembly item. Now, this is where I actually am going to build my product. So this is why it's very important that you build the item first so that when you charge your customers, this is what they're actually going to be doing. But the key here is you actually have to actually create the product. Okay? So how do I do that? I have to go ahead and go to build a assemblies. Okay, so in this case, we're going to go to the vendors menu. Okay, vendors menu. Okay, oop, wrong one. I need to exit out of this. Okay, there you go. Vendors menu. Favorites. Whoa, okay, so vendors menu. All right, and you're going to click on build assemblies. Okay, so where it is, well, I think it's inventory activities, build assemblies. Okay, so inventory activities, build assemblies. Okay, and once you click on that, you're going to get this window. This is where you're going to actually build the package itself, right? You're gonna build the camera itself, right? By taking the camera, putting it together, and so you can sell the package as a bundle package. So in this case, right, I'm here, right? I'm going to go ahead and select which item I'm building. In this case, I'm building the SR32 camera package, all right? So this is where it takes a list of all my items. How many items am I going to be creating? In this case, I want to create a quantity of 3. So again, the date, I'm gonna leave the date alone. In this case, again, it's relative, but it says here that I built it on the 30th of April, and again, your reference number, so basically a reference point of when you built them, right? That's also going to be if you want to. So in this case, I'm going to leave it at 1, okay? Or in this case, 2021-1. So I know that I built it this year, okay? So then now it's going to tell me, so this is what I want to do for my that this are the items that I need for my cameras, right? And it tells me here, this is what I have on hand. I have exactly 5 cameras, I have exactly 5 lenses, and I have 0 cases. So in this case, I'm supposed to purchase my cases, but that's okay. We'll just leave that off for another day. So in this case, I'm going to go down to the bottom, and it tells me how many total quantities am I building this package for. I want to build a total of 2 packages. Okay, so that's when I put that in here, right? And again, my it says right here where that your camera SR quantity should be 9 for the quantity of 2. Okay, so let's see if I were to. Okay, so again, it should show you here that the numbers that you create. Okay, so if I go ahead and click on save, or you could do it at the top of the window too, save and close, and I build my inventory, my items here, it should say that I am building 9 items, okay, or in this case, my quantity is 2. So on here, the page should say that you have an SR camera for 9 of them, and you have 4 lenses, and you have 2 cases, you have 12 lenses and you have 24 cases available. So in this case, I don't know why it's only showing me that I only have 5, 5, and 0 lenses or 0 cases. Again, I don't know what's going on with this. So here, there it is. So when I build my inventory, my assemblies, I'm going to go ahead and click build and close. So here it gives you an error message. It's because you have a problem. You don't have enough inventory. That's okay. Make it pending or cancel, or I'm just going to go ahead and make pending until I purchase those inventory items. And again, I don't know why you don't have these items in there. Again, I don't know what that is, but it tells me that I don't have those items. So then that's okay. Again, this is how you build your product, is by doing this and clicking build and close. Okay, so in this case, it's pending because I don't have those items available. So I do have to purchase those items through my vendors. So then I'm able to be able to make my products. Okay, so I'm going to close out this window real quick because I don't have the items available. Okay. So that's how you build your product. And once you build your product, when you go into your inventory stock status, right, you should be able to see that that product available. So reports, inventory stock status. You should be able to see that you should have your camera package, which in this case, you don't have any, because you didn't have enough to build it. But when you do build it using the assemblies, right, to build assembly, it should show that you have 2. Okay. So, all right, any questions there?
No.
Okay. All right. Last thing I have to show you is going to be your inventory reports. So, I've already showed you many of them, right? If you want to do a total valuation, right, see your total value of your inventory, I've already showed you that to you. I showed you the inventory stock status. You can even take a physical count worksheet. So you can print this out and have the inventory manager go down to the basement and actually take a physical count and check mark it. So that's what's really cool about there too. For purchases, again, you can see how many purchases you made by vendor. You can also check out the inventory, the purchases by item. So how many items have you purchased from each vendor, or in this case, by per item. All right, and anything like that. You even have your purchase orders window, which I've already showed you that, right? We took a look at your open purchases. Okay, so once again, it depends if you are the inventory manager, but if you're not, then none of these reports matter to you. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. We already finished inventory reports. Okay, and that is it for chapter 8. Okay, let's go over the multiple choice questions. Okay, starting with the very first one, make sure you choose the best answer for the following. Okay, number 1. Okay, which item type should be selected? Okay, when adding a new item that you buy and or sell, but don't keep track of it.
A.
Okay, now this is a product
I
that
say
you're
C.
selling.
I say C. A
C,
non-inventory part.
correct. Because in this case, remember when I told you, right? In accounting aspect, treat inventory part and non-inventory like periodic and perpetual. In QuickBooks, obviously, it's just depending on how you keep track of it, right? One where you sell more often, and the other one is you don't sell as often. So in this case, C is correct, where you don't really keep track of it. Okay. Number 2, okay, if you pay sales tax to more than one agency, you should use which of the following item types?
A.
Good. A, sales tax group. Okay, is when you have to make, so this one again, I taught this to you in chapter 3. Okay, so again, sales tax group is when you pay to multiple agencies, one for the state and one for the local county that you belong to, that you're doing business to, then you have to use a sales tax group item. Number 3, if your vendor, okay, ships more than you ordered on a purchase order, or like also known as an overshipment, okay, which of the following actions would not be appropriate? Okay, so this one is something you had to read. D is
B as in boy.
B as in boy.
Yes, B.
Okay, so this is where this question is. This is the question that I kind of have disagreements with. Okay, but it says which one's not appropriate. So B, you said that you could receive the extra shipment using an inventory adjustment transaction. Okay, in that case, is that ethical? Is that ethical that you just receive the inventory items and then just do an inventory adjustment?
No, not really.
You're just keeping their inventory.
Right, but the problem is you only paid for a specific amount. You're going to not pay?
No, you're gonna pay.
You should pay. You can't be receiving, oh, this person decided this. They decided to send me extra stuff, so I'm not going to pay. No, you should pay. All right? So that's why I think B is one of the correct answers. That what would not be appropriate. You're not going to receive the items under extra shipment and not pay the vendor. Okay? However, D in the book, it will tell you that D is the correct answer, where you could receive the extra shipment into inventory and then send it back and then record a customer credit. They sent you an overshipment. Why do they owe you money? Right? You receive
Because
the
they sent you more shipment than you ordered. Oh no, they wouldn't owe you money. Okay.
Exactly. Why would they owe you money? Why would you receive a vendor credit
But
for
maybe because the cost of shipping it back. Your cost of shipping it back.
That's a good one, Erica.
That's a good one, but in context of this, again, you've already paid for whatever you have. So the extra shipment, right? You receive the extra shipment and then send it back and then record a bill credit in QuickBooks. No. In context, maybe we don't think about shipping. Of course, you could talk to your vendor about that, saying, hey, I paid this for your extra shipment. But in this case, no, you wouldn't receive a bill credit for that because they don't owe you money, right? Why would they owe you money for extra shipment? You owe them money. So that would not be a bill credit. That would be you having to make an extra payment, but you're not receiving the end. You're giving it back. You're sending it back. Okay, so the correct answer is D, but I do think B is a possible answer because you can't just receive the extra shipment without paying them. That's unethical. Okay. Number 4, okay, when setting up a group item, okay, where do you enter the sales price? C, right? The group item does not include a sales price field. Where do you actually adjust it? If you can't change the selling price on the group item itself, where can you change it?
I thought it was on the bill, no?
Yes, that's correct. On the bill, invoice. Yes, that's correct. You need to know that because like when you build group items, you can't be charging your customer the same price because then what's the point of having a bundle package? There's no incentive. So in order for you to be able to change the sales price, you have to do it on the actual sales form itself. You can't modify it in the actual item itself. Okay. Number 5, okay. To activate QuickBooks inventory,
Letter A.
letter A, select the file menu and then choose preferences. Does the file menu have
Is it number B?
preferences?
D.
No,
You have to
actually
go up
D.
to it.
Yeah, it's D.
Okay, B says select purchase vendors. Is there a purchases anywhere for vendors? Anywhere?
No, D as in David.
D as in David is correct, right? You're going to select the edit menu and then select the preferences and then click company and then click items in inventory and then click on company preferences. Okay, so I just said that. Okay? And change it there. Good. Number 6, the inventory asset account.
D.
D as in David is increases when inventory is purchased, and that is correct, right? Let's take a look at the other answers. Tracks open purchase orders of inventory items. Is that what an inventory asset account does? It doesn't keep track of your purchase orders. Once again, because purchase orders is a non-posting activity. It doesn't affect anything with inventory. Okay. B says decreases when inventory is purchased. Obviously, that's not true. Increases when inventory is sold. Obviously, that's not true because when you sell your items, you're essentially getting rid of your inventory. So D is the correct answer. Okay. Number 7, in QuickBooks Pro Premier and an accountant, inventory can do all of the following except
B.
which is going to be use the LIFO, FIFO method or to determine the inventory cost. Yes, right? It uses the average costing. Right? And then number 8 we have here is which of the following statements is false in regards to purchase orders.
B.
B. POs that include inventory items are posted to the inventory account at the end of each month. Yes, that statement is false. It does not do that because POs, once again, do not affect anything. They don't post anywhere. They're non-posting. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Number 9, to display the window used to record inventory adjustments in QuickBooks, ... You should.
B as in boy.
Let's see.
No
No,
adjustments should be made.
QuickBooks automatically adjusts inventory each time you purchase or sell an inventory item. Well, in this case, okay, we can adjust inventory at any given time, can't we?
Yes. C.
And the correct answer is C, right? You're going to select the vendor's menu, select inventory activities, and then select and choose adjust quantity or total value on hand. Yes. C. Yes, you can change the value, especially if you purchase inventory, right? what happens? You can easily make a mistake whether you're using, if you don't use purchase orders and you decided to write a check or enter in a bill, you can accidentally flop yourself and you might not be able to fix it. And the only way that you can fix it is through an inventory adjustment. Okay. Number 10, right? Number 10 says, which of the following is not a report available through QuickBooks?
Is it A?
A, where it says goods in process inventory by item. Yes, right? There's no goods in process inventory, right? In other terms, the goods in process would technically be your inventory assemblies, but there is no such thing as that, right? We do have an inventory stock status, which I showed you. There is an inventory valuation summary, which I showed you, and you have an item quick report. Yes, you can do that, right? In your book, it doesn't show you, but you can do that by selecting the items and services and going down to the very bottom and run a quick report on that. Okay. Oops. Number 11. Which of the following statements is true in regards to recording of receipts of inventory items? You say C, okay? You can record receipts against a purchase order even before you receive all of the items ordered. Good, right? We call that a packaging slip, right? So C is the correct answer. That is true. You would record item receipts. Okay. Number 12, okay? When entering in a bill for the purchase of inventory, okay, parts, what tab at the at the place where you enter in the bills window should you use?
D, any of the above?
You can't use expenses and account. No, you can't use accounts.
Right.
Okay, I just showed you this earlier today, right? When you have to and you making purchases of inventory, right? Your inventory, right? It's split into many different items, right? In this case, you cannot enter an expense item into an expense account, right? And you cannot use items in accounts because they don't exist. So in this case, the answer is A. You would have to click on the items tab. There is no such thing as an accounts tab, so that's already eliminated already. There's only expenses and items. And under expenses is accounts. You can't put items in accounts. You can only
Okay.
enter it in through items.
All right.
Okay. Number 13, before entering in, before setting up your inventory, okay, it is a good idea to think about what products you will track, okay, as inventory parts because B. All right, let's see. Because you could use non-inventory parts items if you do not need to have a detailed report about it. And again, and running inventory status information about certain products. Good, right? You don't really need to keep track of certain products if you don't care for it. Okay, if it's something that you don't sell, then you have the ability to create a non-inventory part. Okay, so good. It's also, yeah, it's very recommended that you do determine which items are the ones that you actually sell and that you want to keep a good track record of versus the items that you don't sell as often and you don't really care to keep track of them. Okay. Number 14, okay, you can adjust the inventory by
B.
B, by adjusting the item quantity. Okay, that's one of them. What else did I also do?
Then C.
Yes, you
Then the
also,
correct answer is letter D.
yes, then D is the correct answer because yes, because remember, I was able to do quantity and total cost. All right. I did both examples. One of them was for the metal picture frames. That one was for the quantity. I did the wooden picture frames. I changed the value of it, the total cost of it. So in this case, D is the correct answer. Number 15, last but not least, okay, when processing a vendor overcharge, okay, what do you not want to do?
I think it's C.
C as in cat?
Yeah.
Yes, you are going to be using two separate accounts when recording the overcharges. And then you're going to refund or credit to keep the item, to keep the transactions from becoming confusing. Yes, so if a vendor decides to overcharge you, you will be creating another account. So then you can also make sure that you talk with your vendor to dispute this problem. But in order to like keep a separate one, you do need to create a separate account for vendor overcharges. Okay. And that is it for chapter 8. All right. Any last questions?